Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blog Talk Radio, and this is Beyond Surviving Radio with Rachel Grant on Butterfly Dreams Radio. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a sexual abuse recovery coach since 2007 and am the author of Beyond Surviving, the final stage of recovery from sexual abuse. I work with survivors who are sick and tired of feeling broken and unfixable, and I help them let go of the pain of abuse and move on with their lives. And today I have the very great pleasure of having with me my guest, Mai Vu, master coach, international speaker, and soon-to-be author, who's going to be sharing with us when and how it is time to leave a relationship. So I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about Mai. She works internationally with divorced moms who are dating again, balancing the demands of being a good mom, having a successful career, and cultivating a hot lover. She helps them create the hot life and hot love they are wanting without repeating previous mistakes. Mai is a seasoned coach of 20 years, having coached over 2,500 clients worldwide. She is a retired trainer for the Coaches Training Institute and One Taste, where she has trained over 1,000 coaches. She's just as divorced as you are, raising a beautiful teenage daughter, and enjoying time with her hot boyfriend, all while running her international coaching business. And I personally have been following Mai for quite some time and love her work, have really seen how she's grown and evolved over the years. She's got the best, spunkiest personality ever, so you guys are in for a real treat tonight, and can't wait to get started. So, Mai, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel. And it's funny that you said that about me because I have been witnessing you and tracking you since 2007 when you began. And I have been so impressed with how clear you are in who you work with, how you serve your clients, and really you are so impressed with their pain and the reality that they live with. So I actually have been following your model and going, when I grow up, I want to be like Rachel.
Oh, my goodness. That's so nice of you to say. Well, you know, when we were chatting and we were talking about, you know, this kind of the women that you're serving and also the women and men and that I'm working with, and how so often there is this intersection between what we're working on. You know, a lot of my clients are dealing with broken relationships, coming out of abusive relationships or divorce, and, you know, trying to get started again, or they're in a relationship and they're, you know, trying to figure out how to evaluate, do I stay, do I go, what am I supposed to do here? And so I was really excited to explore this topic with you specifically because you're so skilled and versed in relationships. So to get us started, what I'd really like to start with is just, you know, what is it that you see women doing? Like, why are they staying in relationships longer than they should? What's really keeping them in these relationships?
Oh, God. Okay. Here we go. But it's such a big question, right? Because I think the simplest answer, and we're going to tease out more layers of depth here, but really the simplest answer is because we love. We love and we're so committed. You know, like once we say yes to a relationship, whether it's our children or our man or boyfriend or, you know, we just commit ourselves and we stay in and we do everything it takes to make it work. And we all have this vision of like making, you know, go the distance and making it last forever. And we'll take it on. You know, this is a lifetime challenge for us.
Yeah.
So I think that's like the heart intention to start the conversation with. And I wanted to like take some time to honor that, you know, because it's like it's this heart that we bring in that becomes so baffling of like, why do I invest so much? Why do I give everything I can? Why is it that I've done everything I could, and still it's not enough, and still you don't love me, and still hasn't been fixed. What more could I do? I've taken all the classes, tried everything.
Right. Yeah. There's kind of a sense of maybe it's a loyalty or a commitment, a level of commitment to trying to explore every single avenue, figure out if every single possible thing has been tried. And so you found in your work that, do you find that women more than men perhaps fall into that, or do you see it kind of equally between, in relationships that could be either the man or a woman who's kind of finding themselves in that trap of, just, would you say it almost like overcommitting or something? I'm not sure how you would define it, but
well, I think it starts with that innocence of commitment and giving it out all and working harder and harder and harder at it. If it's not working, then let me just work harder at it to make this work, And I think there's a high percentage of like men and women do this, but since I mainly work with women, I see this, and I want to start the conversation with that because I want our listener to really get that I honor that heart, I honor that commitment, I honor that level of investment that us women have into a relationship. And there are some insidious stuff underneath there that this heart level of investment actually cover up.
So say a little bit more about that. What is that? Say a little bit more about what you mean by the yes.
Right. So on the surface it's like because I love, that's why I stay, right? But underneath that there's also because I'm very insecure of myself.
Okay.
Because I don't think that I'm worth it.
Yeah.
Because that one is so big, and so we cover it up with commitment, with hard work, with let me try some more, instead of really tending to ourselves and going, why don't I think that I deserve better than this? Why don't I think that, I deserve to be treated with respect and kindness and all the way to adoration, to be loved and cared for and adored, like we don't talk like that. We just push that aside.
Yeah, it's so true. I see this quite a bit with my clients that when we start out, a lot of times they're one of their desires is to heal and repair their relationships. And in my particular program, we don't even deal with that until we're about at month 6. And a lot of times I say to them, I know it feels like that's where you want to start, but we've really got to get some other stuff in order first.
Yeah.
You can't really even make some decisions like about your it's like trying to decorate a house that's not even built,
exactly.
Got to have those things in place first, like your self-esteem, your sense of worth, your sense of value.
Yeah, and in my case, I work with divorced moms who are dating again, right? And so they're somewhat out of the trauma stage of the marriage had fallen, and the hurt and the wound of that. So I usually get them 3 to 6 years after the divorce. Now they're like, okay, I've recovered and I think I'm ready to date, or I'm dating, or I've been dating, and I see why am I stuck with the same patterns of men, kind of thing. And they come to me and they're like, wanting to have a dating solution, and I'm like, okay, the first thing we have to do is stop you from dating, because all you're doing is keep hurting yourself and repeating the same pattern. So, just give me 3 months and freeze dating for a second and let me help you heal first, and help you rebuild, get to know yourself and build up the confidence. Because you could have all the men in the world around you, but when you're so depleted and when you're so deeply angry and resentful that you haven't been seen and appreciated, and you don't trust men, and you had wounds from the past marriage relationship, you cannot receive a new man. You cannot receive him. No matter how great he is, you're going to reduce him down to another failed relationship.
Yes, yeah. it's like you're already looking for the danger or the problems that are going to be there. And so no matter, he could be the, knight in shining armor, but you're just going to miss it. You're not even going to see it and respond to it.
Exactly. And he could be giving you everything you need, but if you cannot receive it, I think receiving is such a big key here that most women who are dating again don't talk about. They don't realize how difficult it is for them to receive love, to let love in, and that how much they push love away.
So, when you're working with women who are actually still in the relationship, and I know this might be, more of where you used to be than where you are today, but, what is it that you would encourage our listeners to do to evaluate? How do you come to this answer of should I stay or should I go? Like, what are the things that one should be asking themselves or evaluating or taking a look at when trying to make that decision?
Yeah. So the same thing with should I date or shouldn't I date? I think should I leave or should I stay is actually the wrong question to be asking. It really is. Yeah. I know. Bust that up, right? Because that question puts you into a tailspin of back and forth, arguing against yourself. Well, I should stay because, at least I get this and this and this from him. Well, but I should go because, I don't get this and this and this, and I'm missing that. And then we just ping-pong back and forth, and it's just the most useless question.
Or I've been there.
Right?
Been there, yes.
And by the way,
miserable.
If you think this only applies to relationship, you're so wrong. This is all about relationships at work, at home, everywhere in your life.
Got it. So instead of asking that question, what should we be doing? What should we be focusing on?
We have to start with the most fundamental and yet the most powerful and important question, which is, what do I really, really want? Not just what do I want, because I think when you ask, what do I want, our brain is so tricky, it will answer a very surface question. So ask that question first and burn that off, because usually we would answer that, we answer it from a very basic needs. I want a roof over my head. I want enough money to pay my bills. I want my kids to be thriving in school. I want happiness. I want, to be safe. And that's kind of a list that we would rattle off quickly. And everybody would have a list. But then when you go a level deeper and another level deeper, like, what do I really, really want? Beyond survival. I love that title, by the way. Beyond survival. And beyond just having enough, what do I really, really want? Now we're starting to color in the beautiful color and the texture and really listening to our hearts and get down to the deep secret truth deep inside us. And believe me, I can't tell you how many women cannot access this level of depth with themselves.
So, and a lot of what I hear you saying is that there's the one part of knowing who you are, getting clear about your own worth, your own value, really believing that you deserve to have a hot, passionate, loving companionship relationship. And then when you have that foundation, being able to then from that place tap into what your real desires are, your real needs are, instead of continuing to dismiss them. I know for myself, when I was in a very long 10-year relationship that was extremely abusive, that a lot of what happened is that I couldn't even identify what other type of relationship I might want or what it could look like or what I really need, because I was so consumed with self-blame and guilt and believing it was my fault and all of that. Yeah. So I love that.
And I bet that if I'm so curious, like if somebody had asked you at that time, what do you want? What would have been your answer?
Man, in those moments, it would have been just like, can I just like get by? It was so about
right?
You know, it wasn't about like really having anything dynamic. It was like, can I just get to like a status quo, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just want to have some space. I just want to have like a little healing space or a break from this even, right? Or breather, or like someone to just like look at me with some sense of care and gentleness, and that would just be like a ginormous step. Yeah.
Right.
And so and you actually don't have to be in an abusive relationship to want so little like that. You know, I go around my community and I network a lot, and when people ask me what do I do, and I say, you know, I help divorced moms who are dating again build their hot life and hot love that they really want. And the answer that I normally get most of the time is, does it have to be hot? Does it have to be hot? You know, because I'm just barely, I just want to pay my bills. And so we all just work at such a basic level of need. And I'm not discounting that at all. I totally get that. And that's why this question of what do I want and then what do I really, really want is so important. Instead of the question, should I go or should I stay? Because even if you go or you...
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, even if you have the answer, you know, whether you should go or you should stay, you're going to end up creating the same situation again because you haven't really know what you're leaving it for.
Yes. What are maybe some of the, like, maybe top 3 or top 5 things that you find that you notice hearing over? I'm sure you see patterns. I'm sure you see trends when women are getting really in touch with what they really, really want, just to give our listeners a sense of, you know, what that might sound like or what that might look like.
What do they really, really want, you mean? Or
what are some of the things that you hear people saying?
Before we go to that question, can I cover the one before that, which is what are like the top 3 things that women keep doing and keep expecting a different result, but they keep doing and thinking that you know, the definition of insanity here, right? And to be honest, I used to be like that too, and I didn't even know it. I did not know that I was doing these 3 things. So the first thing that we all do, and it's so crazy, is that we take on all the responsibilities.
Yes.
To do everything, to make everything happen. We just take it on, and more and more and more. And because we're run by this deep, deep guilt and shame of not enough, for some reason we believe that we're not enough. So they keep thinking that if I just do more, then I will earn my worth. I will earn my keep. I will fix this situation. So taking on too much and taking on all the responsibilities for everyone around them.
Got it. Yeah.
Does not help. Does not help at all.
Does not help at all. No. Yeah. And it really is such a trap. I mean, I know I've certainly been in these relationships. It feels like this never-ending thing because as soon as you get one thing, like, okay, I'm just going to get to, if I just do this, like you get there, and then guess what? Another thing pops up. Oh, now I have to do that, and then now I have to do that, or now I have to be this, or now I have to change that. It's like a never-ending cycle. So you're just on it's like a hamster in a wheel, just, you know, not getting anywhere.
Yeah, and you create such a world of dependency. You create everybody around you depending on you. And your husband, your partner, your kids, your parents. And again, it comes from that low self-esteem and you don't believe in your own worth, right? And so you want to create it so that when people need you, then you're of something, you know, you have some value. Oh, well, they can't live without me. My kids can live without me. And that is so crazy because it traps us and it traps them.
Right. It's an imbalance of we want to be dependent and count on other people, but we want to be able to do it in a way that's balanced and grounded and not in this effort to try to gain validation or acceptance.
Yeah, and we don't trust. You know, we don't trust that the universe has our back, We don't trust that everything conspires in our behalf, on our behalf. We don't trust that our man can handle our objections or our anger or our emotion, anything real from us. And we don't trust that our children are smart enough or emotionally intelligent enough to handle the situation. So we just keep digging the hole deeper for ourselves. So that is just like the number one thing that women should just stop doing. Stop taking on all the responsibility.
Cut it out.
Cut it out.
You heard it. You heard it here. Cut it out. All right.
Yes.
What's the second thing?
And the second thing is that they walk on eggshells. So along with that, now they walk on eggshells trying to please everyone. And this happens at work. This happens at home. You know, if your man is slightly upset, you're like tiptoeing around, trying to please everybody. So it's tie in with the first point. You know, we take it on, and then it shows up as this walking on eggshells. How long can you really walk on eggshells and think that you have a good relationship or even a relationship?
Right. Yeah, because if you're in that mode, you're really hiding out. You're not being genuine and authentic with your partner if you're constantly trying to basically premeditate, and figure out what could be upsetting. Well, let me just avoid that, or let me not share this because it might cause conflict. So you're not really being in the relationship. You're just kind of holding space with somebody, but not really connecting.
Well, you're actually manipulating the relationship to be safe, thinking that you're actually doing something right here. You know, like, wow. If I say that, then, then we can go another step further, and if I would avoid that. So it's actually manipulating, yourself and everyone in there to try to maintain status quo, to try to keep things going, to try to not rock the boat.
Something that comes to mind as you're sharing that, May, is just the underlying layer of that I've personally been through, and I know a lot of my clients deal with, is that we become so afraid of losing connection. Especially if we've been through a lot of life where there's been disconnection. And so we can set the bar very low, and then we end up protecting it, with everything we've got. It's like you've really got this little, cubic zirconian gem here, but you treat it like it's the biggest diamond in the world because at least it's not nothing, right? And
you reminded me of my marriage proposal. My ex-husband, when he married me, he was a very nice guy, by the way, and at that time we were poor. We didn't have money, and so I actually bought a cubic zirconia from QVC, and I've been wearing it. And so when he proposed to me, I literally switched the finger and put it on my left hand, and said, "Oh, you don't need to buy me a diamond ring. This one is just fine, just enough." Talk about setting the bar low. So when I talk about walking on eggshells or thinking low of yourself, I really know from personal experience.
Sure. Yeah, so you're really encouraging women to really claim their space in the relationship, to use their voice, to not be afraid of rocking the boat. I mean, you don't want to be doing it in ways that are unhealthy, but you can't hide out and expect to have intimacy and connection and relationship and be constantly looking to try to please. Go ahead.
I wonder what are the ways that we could do that would be unhealthy. Let's name some, because I think that we are so afraid that if we speak our mind, or want everything what we want is unhealthy. Let's try it out. Challenge ourselves here. What, Rachel, do you think that we could be saying that would be too much?
Oh, yeah, I think that there's not necessarily anything that we can say when we communicate from a place that's genuine and heartfelt and honest. I know from my experience, what would often happen is that I would hold back a lot of what I really wanted to say, and then it would come out in all these weird ways. I'd throw Tupperware, or I'd throw temper tantrums, or And so
look at how practical you were. You threw Tupperware. You didn't throw
I know.
dishes.
Always be safe in your insanity, people.
That's right. And if you throw Tupperware, it doesn't break. It wouldn't cause it. So let's be practical about this. I think that's the third thing, that women do. We're so practical, and we take less, right? We accept less, so then, even in our tantrum, we throw Tupperware.
Right.
Instead of, if you want to shatter something, shatter it and watch it break. Watch the pieces shatter and feel that, and really, really let yourself have that experience. Oh my gosh, we are so afraid of our anger. We think that we would be crazy out of hand. And and not to discount, because we grew up around anger, right? That's how we were abused. And my dad was very abusive when I was younger. I mean, that was his form of disciplining us, was constant, everyday beating when he gets home. So, I was afraid of my anger, too, and I never throw anything. Never. Heaven forbid. So I avoid the whole anger.
Do you find that women also shy away from expressing emotion out of the fear of being labeled like yet another crazy girl? And that, there's a little bit of a cultural bias in some ways, I believe. And you can, yay or nay this.
Yeah.
But the sense that, oh my gosh, if I actually really express myself or, show what's going on or talk about what's up for me, that, the guy's just going to say, oh, there she goes, another crazy woman, and I'm out of here. And so a lot of times our emotions, even if we are trying to express them or our ideas or our feeling, what's up for us, that we can run into this problem of it being kind of sloughed off even when we are trying to show up.
Well, dismissed and discounted, right? And I think it's both ways. I think we discount our own emotion. We discount it. We minimize it, and we do not value our own emotion. And then so when we express it or when we have an outburst, then the people around us reflect how we treat ourselves, and they would be shushing us down and, labeling us or do whatever that we do. I think I call that like a self-abuse, like we talk terribly to ourselves. We are not good allies or champions to ourselves. We don't defend ourselves to ourselves, in our own head. We abandon ourselves, and then we wonder why the world abandoned us. We wonder why the men abandoned us. We wonder why we're not getting the love and support that we really want from our men.
Wow. I think we need to say that one again, because that, I think, is really huge. Let's just make sure we say that and that people really hear what you just said. Did you
say it
you
again,
don't know
Rachel.
what you just said. That was so amazing. That when we abandon ourselves, as that is the first stage, that we are not in the space of caring for ourselves and basically demanding the space and the respect. And how then can others show up for us that way if we're not doing it for ourselves?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I was actually writing a speech for a talk that I'm doing on Monday night in Berkeley, and the conversation is about adversity. How do we turn adversity into strength, into power? And we all have adversity experiences, right? I mean, I escaped from Vietnam when I was 10. I almost died on that boat. I came here as a welfare immigrant who had no English, no money, no connection in this country, and we just started at zero and built our way up. So I know adversity, and so on and so forth. But anyway, but one of the things that I'm going to talk about is like the trick here is that when we have survived adversity in our life, it's great. It makes us stronger. It makes us into a survivor. It makes us into that we know we can survive anything, right? So those are the good outcome of adversity. But the underbelly of that is that it leaves imprint in our psyche. that when you're a survivor, you tend to settle for less. You tend to ask for less. You tend to accept, I love secondhand clothes and I can rock it. And, but I have a really hard time walking to an MS store because I'm just feel completely out of place there because my immigrant identity, runs me.
Right.
So I think there's something here that we all need to look at, like what happened in your childhood? What was the adversity that we had overcome and built us to this day? And then how does that leave an imprint in our life that even though we're out of it now, we're still in that survival mode. We're still settling for less. We're still thinking that we're second-class citizen. We're not worthy yet, of the life for someone else. That would be too much for us,
Yeah, I see this a lot of times with my clients, and we certainly do a lot of work around this through my program as well, is, how can you claim that you want, to have a healthy, relationship when there's all of that clutter in the background? If there's a belief sitting there with you that, like, men are dangerous, men are out to get you, and the same applies for my male clients. They have beliefs about, females and things like that. Then, you can't really walk into that relationship and that not influence the way that you show up, what you feel, what you experience.
Even if you're with someone new, you still have that imprint from the old survival thing, like you survive whatever happened in that relationship, and you walk away with that underbelly of, like, men cannot be trusted. Ultimately, they cannot be trusted. They will always abandon me, and I can build my life so that I don't need men. And, so that experience actually runs us, and it stops us from moving beyond survival. We get stuck in that survival mode, and we turn every situation as another thing to survive rather than really thriving and really being it hot. But
that's true. So true.
Yeah.
So now, let's say you're in a place and you do this work that we've been kind of describing, and you realize, it's time to step up my game and to really call in the things that I really want, and I'm not going to settle for less anymore, and I'm tired of walking on eggshells, and I'm tired of doing everything for everybody and leaving myself out in the dirt. What can women practically do? Like, what are the steps that they can actually take once they know it's time to move on from a relationship?
Well, the first step was to really know what it is that you want, and then really living it starting today. Even if you're still in a relationship, even if you don't have the money, but live it like, what is it that I really, really want? Oh, I really want freedom. I really want respect. So live from that place of having freedom and respect with everything that you do in your life, in this moment. Right? From that place, you're going to start to undo your brain, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to react to this situation differently. Because in the past, I would react it from being a victim of my life, but no, I'm not. I'm going to practice being and doing this moment of my life from a place of, like, I have full freedom and I have full self-respect for myself. Suddenly you start to notice, oh, people around me are doing that. They're respecting me and they're giving me more freedom. Oh, suddenly your nasty, horrible, non-emotionally available to you, suddenly are, like, curious with what's going on with you.
Right.
And you change the world. And then from that place, you will really know if you need to go or stay. You will feel a sense of completion rather than a sense of reaction. So how you know when you're done with a relationship is you feel complete. You feel very at peace with it. You feel a sense of acceptance and a sense of forgiveness to yourself and to that person and the situation, and that you're done. That's when you go.
Wow. You know what I really – okay, you just, like, blew my mind. Hold on a second. So what's really interesting to me about what you just said is that while you're sitting in the relationship, with the problems, with the issues, that you begin to change and claim the things that you really want. And in the space of doing that, it's like you become so grounded in who you are and what you really want that when it comes to actually making the decision, you then make it from this space of like whole, complete, aware, not like reactive and, you know, out of control and just being, you know, responsive to something and to a situation. I really love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, how many people, I mean, I would love to take a toll on this, you know, how many people would be, you know, in a marriage or in a relationship and then they have an affair that wakes them up, right? And then they're like, oh, my God, this is the greatest thing. This is what love is. What I had with my ex or with my wife is just dead and boring, right? So we would leave that and go to this one, and lo and behold, 6 months, 9 months, or a year into it, it's the same thinking pattern. What happened? Where did it go, right? It's because we were reacting to it. We weren't really having the freedom. We were looking for someone else to provide that for us. That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
If you want security, you want freedom, you want love, you got to start with yourself. It's like, give yourself love, give yourself security, give yourself freedom while in the situation. And then suddenly you're going to think and do things differently. And then it will be very clear to you if you need to continue to stay here because there's more things to learn, or if it's time to go and you're done with this situation.
Wow. That's awesome. I think that's such a shift. That's a real paradigm shift, I think. I hope, you know, our listeners' brains are okay because mine is blown. Because a lot of times what we think about, I mean, honestly, the way that we've often been modeled, you know, relationships ending, so to speak, is like, okay, I'm upset, I'm not getting what I need, I'm out of here, you know. Okay. Whereas what and I've actually seen this in my clients too, that as we've done our work, they come in, they're actually very much on the fence about whether they're going to stay in their marriage or not. And we do the work to, you know, repair and heal who they are. They get connected again to their authentic selves, their values, their real genuine needs. They start to build up those skills of communication, feeling confident. And so often what was like, a failed marriage and it's no way it's going to get better, nothing's ever going to change here, all of a sudden things start to like shift. And they go, wait a minute, actually my partner's communicating with me better because I'm showing up in a new way, you know. And again, careful there because I'm not saying that we need to fix ourselves in order to fix our relationships. That's not the idea. But it is this awareness that, go ahead.
Well, I think instead of the modeling, I'm so glad that you said that, you know, that this is not about fixing yourself before you can do anything, okay? This is about remembering your birthright. Remembering your birthright. Nobody talks to us about our birthright, right? Like, what's that? I remember when someone said that word, I'm like, wow, that sounds like a big word. What is that? You know, but it's our birthright to have a joyous life. It's our birthright to be safe in the world. It's our birthright to be loved and to be cared for by everyone, every being on this planet. So if we remember that if I remember that this is my birthright, I'm going to look at life differently. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be spoiled and it's all about me or anything like that, but it's like this place of truly being loved and respected. And when we're loved and respected, we know who we are. We know what we want, and we know how to maneuver around any situation because we know who we are.
Right, that sense of self is so important. It really does inform the way that we show up in the world and the way that we respond to situations. And, you know, I've certainly seen this shift for myself, you know, going from, you know, in my 20s when I was still in the real pain of abuse and how I responded in my relationships, how I acted, the kinds of choices that I made, to now where I feel, you know, I'm complete, I'm healed. I've moved on from that pain. And, man, you know, my relationship is amazing. Like, I sometimes look at my partner, I'm like, this is not real.
Exactly, right?
You know. And
not only that, you know, with my partner, I have a partner like that too, but my business partners are like that also.
Exactly.
And my business partners,
family.
you know, like there's lots of people and men from all walks of life, from, you know, near and far, are like that. You know, that there's just a level of quality and love and respect that are now surrounding me. So it's not just with your romantic love partner and you and me against the world kind of thing. It's just like, no, this is just my birthright. I'm surrounded by, you know, this amazing caliber of people who love and care for me, and I love and care for them.
Yes, that's gorgeous. So now,
and
here's the tricky...
go ahead.
Well, no, finish that thought.
Well, it starts with yourself, right? I just wanted to reiterate again. It starts with, when I look in the mirror, do I love and respect myself? Do I see my own birthright? When I say that to myself, can I feel the resonance? Can I feel, oh, yes, that is my birthright. I do know who that is, what that is like.
Right.
Start from there.
I love that. I love it as what are you claiming for yourself? And what are you deciding you deserve and you want to have? And, you know, supposing, you know, that you reach that place where you realize this relationship, it's run its course. And I think there's also something to be said about just understanding that, you know, relationships are not necessarily always from, you know, all of your life. You know, a lot of relationships are for a season, they're for a time, and they're for a purpose. But if you get to that place where you know, okay, I need to walk away, what's like maybe one or two things that you share with your clients or that you give to your clients to support them in kind of transitioning into this new life?
Well, by now, they already know what they want, and they have respect for themselves and the partners around them, so they know how to end peacefully and lovingly, right? I have this belief that you should start relationship well, you should be in relationship well, and you should end well.
Oh, wow. I love that. Yeah.
You know, like don't end until it ends well. And so when you can end well, then you can start another one really well. You have a good foundation to step from. Everything is always a step up from where you are, right? And so it's like when you have the grace and generosity and love to end well, then you can start well and allow for the new level of love, the new level of play to come to you, because it's really fun. Yeah.
Man, you know, one of the things that I think I knew, but now I definitely know about you is your heart for people to not necessarily to heal and to be together in really dynamic ways, like the on-off, like. You're just not in that world. You're like you exist on a completely different plane where it's not like it's either all black or all white. Like you could have this relationship that has had its struggles, that has had its troubles, and you're walking away from it. But does it have to be this, you know, terrible, painful, tragic thing, or can you find a way to honor the relationship and the time that you had with that person in your life and appreciate that and complete it so that you can move into what's next? Because you're right, when we leave these things.
Yeah, I mean, I was smiling when you said that because I remember my ex-husband's face when we were divorcing, and there was so much pain and tears, you know. But every time he met up with me, I always end up with saying, you know, hating me or me hating you is not an option here, right? Like, we are going to find a place where we can feel love and respect for each other. I'm not leaving this table until that happens.
Wow. Yeah. I love that.
Well, because once you swore to love someone, you swore for life. Once you give your heart to someone, you give for life. That doesn't mean they get to abuse you and you have to be stuck there with them for life, but there's still the love. Love doesn't go away just because we've changed the structure of the relationship.
Right. So, man, there's been so much that you shared today that has been really impactful, and I think, and I hope that the people listening, that what you're hearing is that when it comes, first of all, I think it's just understanding that the question about should I stay or should I go is, don't focus there. Focus on, where you are and who you are and what it is that you need. And then from that place, your choice, your decisions will naturally flow rather than trying to go into pro and con.
And take your time and expand on that question. What do I need? And then what do I want? And what do I really, really want? These three questions, they sound the same, they sound similar, but they have different answers.
Absolutely. And so, I want to make sure we leave enough time to make sure folks know how to get in touch with you. So what are, final thoughts? What is it that you want to make sure that folks listening really hear or, key takeaway for them today?
Key takeaway for them, besides from all the things that we've already repeated, I think I want to...
I mean, those are amazing, but, because you make me have one sentence. Come on, May.
I think I want to invite them to consider having a hot life and hot love. That you don't settle for good enough. I mean, especially if you're divorced or you've gone, from an abusive relationship, it's like, what, you want a good enough relationship? No, I want you to have it really hot. This is your one shot around on this planet, You got, 60, 80, 90 years of this. Make a great run of this, because it goes by so fast. And that we are setting the example for our children to live their hot life and to have really hot love in their life with themselves and with everyone around them. So I want to invite everyone to step up on their game, step up on knowing their birthright on this planet is to have a really hot life and really yummy hot love in their life.
Awesome. Thanks for that, May. I am so happy that you exist.
That
you are out there. That you are out there in the world championing this.
Well, the truth is, my people can't get to me until they get to you, right? You help them pick up the pieces. You help them heal and hold, their broken pieces. I saw this quote, and I think it's from you, actually, where it says, one day you're going to hug all your pieces so tight that you become whole again. And I think your work is incredible in, helping women or people to pick up their pieces and heal themselves and put themselves back together so that they can then come talk to people like me so I don't blow them out of the water and going, you can see where I come from.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, folks, I want to make sure you guys know, thank you for that, May. I appreciate that. And I want to make sure that everyone listening knows how they can get in touch with you. So if somebody wants to reach out and learn more about the work that you do, I know that you have a workshop coming up or a live event coming up in August, if you want to say a little bit about that. But can you tell us how folks can reach out and get in touch?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. And, yes, I have a 2-day live event coming up on August 2nd and 3rd. Hot Life, Hot Love. You can go to my website, hotlifehotlove.com, and register. It is a free event. I do ask that you commit $97 so that you get your butt there and that you don't chicken out on yourself on the last minute. And then when you're there, I will return your money to you the minute you get your name badge to come to the door. And it's it's a great pleasure of mine to be offering this event for the first time in the Bay Area this summer. I've been doing this in Sweden, of all places, and it's been super fun, and I've been changing the Swedish woman's lives out there, and I was challenged to bring it home, and I'm like, okay, I'll bring it home. And so I'm really excited. We're going to be down on Pleasanton, on Main Street in Pleasanton. So Hot Life, Hot Love, that sweet little town is not going to know what hit them. But it would be – you will love it. And, again, you can bring your friends, your lovers, your husband, if he will come, just bring them. So please register on my website. I would be delighted to have your presence there. And there will be lots of great fun prizes. So if you register before July 20th, you're going to be entered into a drawing to win lovely, lovely prizes that has been donated by my friends and all the local merchants in Pleasanton. So super fun.
Wow.
Event.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love that it's open to both men and women, and that you can bring friends, bring your lovers, bring your partners, whatever the case may be. And if you're anywhere near Pleasanton, August 2nd or 3rd, you need to get here. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity to see Mai in action live. It's amazing. And so make sure you go to her website, www.hotlove.com. And you can also email her at Mai, that's M-A-I, at maivucoach.com. And Mai, it's just been, girl, you're just one of my favorites. I love having you here. And I'm just really, really pleased to have had the opportunity to share you with the Beyond Surviving community. And thank you so much for your gifts, for sharing your heart with us tonight, and all of your talent. I love it.
Thank you so much, and I look forward to having you on my Google Hangout in August so that we can have a lot of fun there, and that one will be videotaped too so that you can watch it on YouTube. So I'm super excited to have you on my show and to talk more about Beyond Survival.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited for that as well. Looking forward to that. And, folks, if you're curious about that, you can certainly visit me at rachelgrantcoaching.com. You can also email me, coach@rachelgrantcoaching.com, and check it out. Check out the website. There's lots of resources there, including some information about next week's teleseminar on Monday, 3 Secrets to Everyday Sexy, when I'm going to be sitting with, I know, Marna Schwartz, and she's going to be talking to us all about how to get our sexy back. So if you are feeling stuck, limited, or a little frumpy these days, don't hesitate to register for that free teleseminar. It's coming up on July 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific, and you can see all of that on the website under the News and Events section. So thank you, everybody, for being here tonight, for giving us your time and your attention. If you have any questions, any feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Mai or myself. We're always here and happy to answer any questions that you might have. And until next time, which is the second Tuesday of every month, please take good care of yourself, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.